You win on Wednesdays. This is Pastor Wil with You Win on Wednesdays, and I want to talk about the calling. I want to suggest that ministry is distinguished from any other vocation in that it chooses you rather than you choosing it, and it has very little to do with your strengths or your abilities. Thomas Edison had the insight to invent and goes on to become a celebrated inventor. Ernest Hemingway discovers that he has the ability to write and goes on to become a celebrated and acclaimed author. Babe Ruth discovers his strength as an athlete, a home run king, and becomes the glory of the Boston Red Sox. But ministry is not about your abilities. In fact, Moses is selecting his choice illustrates this in that he's not articulate, he's not young, and yet he's chosen to stand before Pharaoh and declare, "Let my people go." Ministry and this choosing is not about what you want to do or do not want to do. Jeremiah in the Old Testament is intimidated about his youth. And yet he comes to a place where he says, "Here am I, Lord, send me." Paul is in the New Testament on the other end of the spectrum, and he's on his way to persecute the Christian community. And while on the Damascus road, the Lord arrests him, and he comes to the place where he says, "Lord, what would you have me to do?" And so it's not about what you want to do or do not want to do, your abilities. You don't choose it, it chooses you. I want to suggest three things that I think are intrinsic to the calling. The first is an urging. You ought to feel a pulling of the Holy Spirit, a visceral pushing. There ought to be a divine going on down in your spirit as it relates to the calling. The great civil rights lawyer Vernon Jordan, in his book Vernon Can Read, he says, "I waited for the calling, but it never came." Al Sharpton, in his recent volume, The Rejected Stone, he discovers this calling, this urging at an early age. And in New York City, a brilliant Bishop F.D. Washington gives him platform. I want to suggest not only is there an urging, but there is also a submitting. You've got to submit. I've known people who felt the urging but did not submit. And throughout their lives, there was this uncertainty, this insecurity about who they were. But when you have done what the Lord has called you to do in those dark days, and I've had some, you can say, "Lord, I didn't call myself. I need you to open a door, make a way out of no way," and he will. Lastly, there is the discipline. Paul said to Timothy, "Study to show thyself approved, a workman unto God, who needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." There's the discipline to study, the discipline to pray, the discipline to read, the discipline to practice ministry. The old people said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." I want you to leave me a comment and let me know if you can identify with what I'm sharing. Call the number on the screen because everyone I know can use prayer.